Welcome.
This is a crime podcast. Did you know that?
What?
Okay, so
That was a ranting podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The fuck? Guys, this wine is insane. Ugly shit.
yeah, the wine's insane.
Jesus.
I'll find it. Is our other most used phrase.
Hang on, I'll find it. There's only so many ways to stab a person.
The only criminal act was putting on the uniform and saying, I'm the chief at the bar down the street. Like, that was it.
So things were booming in cult land in the 1980s, but then in the early 1990s, they went rapidly downhill.
Viewer discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. I'm Kenyon. Woo.
I'm Lucy. Woo!
I'm Amanda. Woo! And as of today, my cousin Audrey gave birth to a giant 9-pound plus baby.
Giant.
Absolute
She a
behemoth.
whopper.
I would not
Congratulations.
carve that baby at a bar. It's massive.
Full teeth.
That
She
baby
doesn't have
is
teeth.
a toddler.
She walked out.
Yeah.
Walked out of the canal.
How's your cousin doing?
She's good, but she does say R.I.P. my vagina.
Yeah, she is split in half.
But she's doing great. So I've had 2 cousins have babies this year. And 3 of us are getting married this year. It's been a big year for my family.
Fucking yikes.
Lot
Lots
of
of
gifts.
expansion.
So many gifts.
Lots of gifts.
Anyway, that's my news.
Good.
Yes.
Join us.
Yes.
Trauma. Join us.
Trauma?
Tell the trauma story. It's so funny.
When we were in Vegas for the Bachelorette, we were in a pool, all just bopping around, swimming.
At our pool party. Our all-day pool party.
I overheard, was it Ashley talking about someone?
merely uttered the word trauma.
Yeah, and I heard it from across the pool, and I
Across.
swam up.
She
She
like
was
a
head up.
50
seal.
feet away. And she moved so fast in that water.
and so
And
fluidly.
just glided into the center of our little circle with her little head out of the
Conversation.
water.
Little
And just goes,
visor.
trauma.
I wanted to be part of the conversation.
Trauma.
Trauma.
I didn't want to miss the juicy goss.
We were sobbing. We were fucking laughing so hard. I'd also already been drinking for like 10 hours at that point. Anyway, still
All right.
recovering. Forever.
Trauma.
Trauma.
Okay, so
Vaginal trauma.
Yeah, so much vaginal trauma.
Congrats, Audrey and Billy.
because I had a C-section, I still can't quite fathom.
You had your own brand of trauma.
Yeah, I did. I'm not.
You had
It was hard enough,
stomachial trauma.
but I can't even fathom.
Don't
Just
fathom.
don't fathom it. You
vaginal-
never will have to know.
Yeah,
Your
Well-
vagina will be pristine for all of time.
yeah, so pristine. Okay, so
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
real great.
she's totally fine. We have a very special gals pick this week. Brought to you by motherfucking us. And we selected the topic of Freemasons.
You guys, I only want to play the song from The Simpsons where they were in like part of a spoof Freemason group that Homer joined.
The moose?
It's not the moose. I'll play it at the end of the show.
Okay. Well, everyone can look forward to that.
It'll be great. If I remember, I won't remember. Spoiler alert. But it's on the album Songs in the Key of Springfield.
Oh, so like the Jonestown kind of thing where they have their own album.
Kinda.
yeah.
But I mean, The Simpsons has a lot of good musical numbers, so it's
Sure.
less creepy than the Jonestown thing.
Cool.
And more sensical.
We should get into it because my case is bananas. But first, what is our wine crime pairing for Freemasons?
Well, today we are drinking the Blue Ridge Estate Inspiration Rosé. And I want to give a big shout out to Emma and Scott Estep on their brand new nuptials that I treated.
Oh.
They gifted me this wine when I officiated their wedding last weekend in Scranton, PA. And it is from a local winery that the mother of the bride works at. And I think this is a perfect pairing because it holds an ancient secret. This white blend is infused with edible glitter.
Yes.
What?
You cannot see that glitter on camera, but I'll trust. Oh, there. Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, you can see it, babe.
That's beautiful.
It's
Oh,
stunning.
yeah. Looks
Hypnotic.
like a lava lamp.
It does, which gives the wine a bronze shimmer that you will absolutely love to shit or vomit.
Mm-hmm.
As is your record with eating glitter.
Correct. I puked full-blown ticker tape that landed in my drink. That was the same night I shared a bed with Dumpster Matt. Anyway, hi Dumpster Matt. So they make this particular bottle, the Inspiration White, in other far more shocking colors. And I encourage you to click the link that I provided in our notes to see what I mean by shocking. Like, look at the green one, the blue one.
Oh my God. Oh, that looks like Mad Dog.
The blue one looks like the wine that they drink in that episode of Parks and Rec where Ben gets hammered off of the blue fruit wine.
Yes.
The pink one's really shocking.
The pink looks like the elixir from Death Becomes Her. Like
It totally does.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm like sad to open this because it's so mesmerizing.
Well,
to
you can get a new
watch.
one for a cool $17.
Yeah, I can and probably will. So yeah, it's shocking. This beauty is 11% ABV. She's also a popper, and they do not give tasting notes on either their bottle or their website. So much like the Freemasons, this is a true mystery. I'm going in completely blind.
Well,
However,
just tell us how it goes.
I'm going to tell you how it goes. And I was informed by the mother of the bride who works at this winery that it is a top-rated fan favorite. So I'm looking forward to
beautiful.
this. It's fucking gorgeous.
And it looks like the kind of like nectar or whatever that you'd have to drink in a secret Freemason.
Secret society. Initiation.
It is hazing.
It's
I
amazing.
uploaded a photo of the Death Becomes Her elixir to
Good call.
your folder. On
I'm
the
also
Delicious.
showcasing my XOXO, the Wine and Crime Gals wine key that I'm using to open this. And I do have to say, the iridescent wine key with the shimmer of this wine
It's a lot.
We're
Is
ready
it-
for spring.
is a pairing. Yeah, we're ready for spring. It's 48 degrees outside right
It's
now.
77 here.
Stop.
I was just outside gardening right
yeah,
before
I was
we
gardening earlier.
I haven't been able to garden yet. It's literally been too cold for me to rake away the leaves. Like the critters are still
Don't rake them
hiding
away.
in there.
No
I know, I'm not
mow
going to. I'm not going to. Anyway, I'm depressed. Here we go. Oh, it's a fucking nice
pap.
I'm
Mysterious
nervous.
pap.
Let's see that glitter, that bronze
Oh
shimmer.
my God.
So pretty.
Yeah, bitch. Holy shit. That is
It
so
looks
cool.
like a Fenty Beauty
Yeah.
compact, like bronzer.
Ooh, it's got a nice nose.
Some sort of highlighting cream.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that you would also use as an eyeshadow in a pinch.
Because it's
Yes.
a white blend, they don't have to tell you what the varietal is, but I would venture to guess that this is a Pinot Grigio blend.
Mm.
There's no way to know, so you're right.
Okay, that's actually really good.
Will you
It's on the sweeter side.
please send a photo of your poop later?
I
Yeah.
absolutely will. But this bottle's gonna go down Real easy. So cheers. Cheers to my heartburn and my glitter shits.
I'm waiting on my liquor for the drunk dive that we're recording after this.
Fucking yerm. I can't wait for your drunk dive.
Well, Lucy,
Bonks.
what is our background and maybe psych for Freemasons?
No psych. Let me get my jar.
I want to get you like a huge bell for when there's no psych.
Well, I have
like
that
a bring out
huge
your
jar
dead.
of bones.
I know, but I don't know.
Just with like a cathedral bell.
Like a town crier's bell. Scare the shit out of Corey.
Vuvuzela.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
It's those like horns at soccer matches.
The
Oh,
World
okay.
Cup horns.
Keep up.
Why
Queen
the
of
fuck
sports.
would I know that?
Queen of sports.
Okay. All right. I didn't know jack shit about Freemasons until about 2 hours ago when I started my notes. Okay. From Encyclopedia Britannica. Freemasonry, so associated words are Freemasons and also just plain Masons, is the teachings and practice of the fraternal order, so men only, we'll fucking get to it, of free and accepted Masons, the largest worldwide secret society. It's an oath-bound society often devoted to fellowship, moral discipline, and mutual assistance that conceals at least some of its rituals, customs, or activities from the public. So a fun side note here, secret societies do not necessarily conceal their membership or existence. They just conceal what happens
What they
behind
do.
closed
Side.
doors. In the original guild, there were 3 stages. You had the apprentice, the fellow craft, and the master masons. The master masons oversaw everyone working on a site because they were literally stonemasons.
Okay, got it. So there was originally a tie to masonry.
Totally.
Okay,
We'll get-
that always threw me.
I'll explain. I thought there would be more to explain, but there's not really, but I'll get to it. So today, these degrees, those 3 like tiers, exist in more of a philosophical respect. Plus, they have numerous degrees within these majors, which vary widely from country to country, lodge to lodge, etc. But each tier does frequently have its own handshake. And different chapters often have their own special handshakes. So there's a lot of handshakes, lots of secret handshakes out there. which
Fun.
I thought was
Oh my
so
God.
silly. It just seems so goofy.
It is goofy.
I want to learn the handshake.
Yeah. You
I-
want to be in the in
I
group.
want to be a Freemason.
Yeah.
I hope they are as complex as the secret handshake that Abby and her friend who works at Bed Bath & Beyond have in Broad City. It's like a full,
She has like 4 different
90-second.
handshakes with different employees at Bed Bath & Beyond because she shops there so much.
They're
Bed
really
Bath and
long.
Beyond.
I know. R.I.P.
They're fine. Whatever.
They're not fine.
They're
They
we
are
are not fine.
We are fine without them.
Right. But they are the opposite of fine.
No, who cares? That's whatever. They sunk themselves with those coupons, honestly.
Coupons were the only thing they did right, I think. Anyway, we'll have a Bed Bath and Beyond
it's
episode.
cool. Yeah, we'll do a whole episode on BBB.
Want to know how I
Diners, drive-ins,
cheated
and
the
dives.
coupon system one
Oh
time?
my God.
What? Are you the reason?
Probably.
Are you Bed Bath & Beyond's 13th reason?
So it's a 20% off one item coupon, you know? And
Yes.
it says in the fine print, you cannot apply that coupon to Dyson. Coupon to Dyson products.
You bitch.
So I found the youngest employee working there and had them check me out.
Yeah. So
I
they
bought
didn't know.
my Dyson. I got like a lot off of my Dyson vacuum because they didn't know that it wasn't qualified on the coupon.
That's smart. That's smart.
Oh my God.
You gotta find the
sunk their
19-year-old
battleship.
boy who just doesn't care.
Yep,
Yep.
that's exactly what I did. God bless them. Okay, Freemasons. Their origins date back to the 13th century stonemasons and cathedral builders that regulated the qualifications of the highly skilled masons and their interactions with authorities and clients.
Okay.
Like within the social structure of that time, the stonemasons were like their own.
Right.
Well, they had like consistent, high level, and fairly well paid work for their entire life because it took 100 years to build a cathedral.
And they were, it was such a niche like thing to be skilled in, and you had to be really fucking skilled at it. Yeah. And the Middle Ages, cathedrals fucking everywhere. Like, it was their
Every town
heyday.
had one. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the decline of cathedral building, the focus of their society shifted. And today, quote, Freemasons are a social and philanthropic organization meant to make its members lead more virtuous and socially oriented lives, according to Margaret Jacob, a woman, professor of history at UCLA and author of Living the Enlightenment, Freemasonry and Politics in 18th Century Europe, which sounds straight up Kenyon's alley.
Oh, yeah. I will be reading that.
Does she have a show on Acorn TV?
I love the 18th century.
Kenny wants to subscribe. We know.
Needs me some more 18th century.
There's not enough out there.
There's a lot to 18th century. There was a lot going on.
So much focus on Tudor England or the Victorians. And I like the 18th century person.
French Revolution. All of it.
All the revolution.
French Revolution.
Enlightenment. Right? Or was that before?
No. Right in.
Yeah. Yeah. Right in there. So the group's core ethics are grounded in the Enlightenment, 17th century, short for century, emphasizing religious tolerance and a thirst for knowledge and sociability. So that decline of the literal cathedrals also led to the development of lodges, which we still have today, a Masonic lodge. In the later Middle Ages, some lodges of operative Masons, so like still working Masons, began to accept honorary members to bolster their declining membership. So you didn't have to be a literal stonemason to be a member of the lodge. So this is where it turned into more of like a social club.
Got it. Okay.
This is making sense.
Yep.
Needed to collect more dues. Okay.
Exactly. From a few of these lodges developed modern symbolic or speculative Freemasonry, which particularly in the 17th and 18th centuries adopted the rites and trappings of ancient religious orders and of chivalric brotherhood. So that's where like a lot of their extra bullshit came from.
Okay.
Robes and the
rituals
oaths.
and that stuff.
The necklaces, the top hats. We'll get to
all the
top
fun
hats.
parts.
The handshakes, the rings, shit like that. In 1717, 18th century, the first Grand Lodge, an association of lodges, so a bunch of lodges came together and formed their Grand Lodge in England. So that was the first like Grand Lodge. That was sort of where the lodge structure sort of really came about.
Okay.
Spread by the advance of the British Empire, Freemasonry remains popular in the British Isles and in other countries originally within the empire. Estimates of the worldwide membership of Freemasonry in the early 21st century, so this is worldwide, ranged from about 2 million to more than 6 million. Lots of Freemasons in the world. However, in the U.S. in recent years, membership has dropped roughly 75%, from a high of more than 4.1 million in 1959. I also associate Freemasonry with like the 50s and boomers
big
and shit
time.
like that.
Anyone's prominent grandpa.
My grandpa.
Yeah.
My grandpa Arthur had like a fez cap for like
Well,
whatever
that's a
weird.
Shriner.
I know he
We'll
was a
get
Shriner.
to the fucking
but-
Shriners.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
like
love a Shriner.
those like little adult son man frats were such a
Yes.
thing.
There were
Yeah.
social groups, totally.
Yeah. The
And-
women had their stitching
Bridge
bitch, and
clubs.
we have the Shriners.
Yeah.
Those goddamn Shriners. Take down the goddamn Frida sign, you lazy sons of bitches.
But also just like post-war, getting back into the industry.
Right.
Lots of male social clubs.
Yeah, it
It was
was that-
absolutely their heyday.
It was the heyday in between, being buddies in the war and orgies in the 60s.
Sure.
You needed a social club in
Yeah.
the middle.
Yeah, to live out your 40s.
Yeah.
So in 1959, roughly 4.5% of all American men were members of the Freemasons, which is like
wow, that's a lot of
nuts.
American men.
4.1 million.
That's too many.
Too many men in general.
Never meet a man.
Generally, Freemasonry in Latin countries has attracted those who question religious dogma or who oppose the clergy, whereas in Anglo-Saxon countries, the membership is drawn largely among white Protestants.
Mm-hmm.
So there is sort of like this appeal from people who kind of reject organized religion and that kind of hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It's a
But
little more
outside of the English-speaking parts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll kind of get to a little bit more of that.
Okay.
Modern Freemasonry, it's kind of hard to say, broadly consists of two main recognition groups. So we have the regular Freemasonry, and they insist that a volume of scripture be open in a working lodge. So you have to have like a
Bible open.
Bible open.
Okay.
Also require that every member profess belief in a supreme being and the immorality of the soul, that no women be admitted, and that the discussion of religion and politics not take place within the lodge. So this is like the hard ass.
Honestly, I support
Doesn't
keeping
Rule
ladies
1
out.
undermine Rule 3?
Kinda. There has to be a
I don't-
Bible open, but
I don't
you can't
think it's
talk about
necessarily the Bible. I think it's their like rule book,
it.
Oh.
which is
Sorry,
called
I'm
the.
crinkling. I have to open this thing of chocolate-covered espresso beans. I
You
literally
do
cannot
have to
stop
open
myself.
that.
Fucking yum.
So they do have like a guidebook, a main guidebook called I think it's pronounced, it said 1723 Constitutions, which I'll kind of get to that. I think that's what they mean by their scripture. I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a Bible because they're not technically associated with religion. And we'll get to more of that too. But anyway, the regular Freemasonry is kind of the hard-ass route. Whereas Continental Freemasonry is a bit more chill. It consists of the jurisdictions that have removed some or all of those previous restrictions.
Cool.
So they're just like, we could take or leave most of that, but we're still going to call ourselves Freemasons because
It's fun.
fuck them. Yeah. We got the handshakes.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly in the
All we
U.S.,
care about.
there are a bunch of appendant groups that have no official standing in Freemasonry, but whose membership draws from it. So again, like, we're not really Freemasons, but we're just going to kind of have the same vibe. So for
Right.
example, we have the ancient Arabic order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, Shriners.
I love how long the names are.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big
Yep.
part of
That's my favorite.
It's
The
a lot of,
longest,
like,
most cumbersome name is required.
Memorization.
So much memorization, which is why I could never thrive in one of these societies.
It's the
Right.
exclusivity. And I also just didn't get into like how they can take, ancient Arabic order, mystic shrine. You're a bunch of white dudes in Iowa. What the fuck
Oh,
are
yeah.
you talking about?
So
It's nuts.
a lot of it goes back to being inspired by the Knights Templar
Yep.
and how they participated in the Crusades. So there's a lot of like Jerusalem language. There's a lot of like,
Mm-hmm.
Arab lands language,
It's
all
a
that stuff.
bizarre patchwork.
It's it's
a bizarre patchwork of like the
Holy
origins
Grail.
of Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all that shit, all that medieval Crusades,
Ancient aliens,
shit.
y'all.
And it all kind of like, it's snowballed from the 13th century. So it just picked up a bunch of weird shit as it's evolved.
over centuries. Yeah,
And it
So, yeah.
doesn't really make sense. That's why when I
A lot
started
of it doesn't make sense.
when I started researching this, I was like, oh, I'm going to get into like all the details and figure out like what all this means.
It's
it
too
doesn't
big.
really mean
anything.
anything.
It's too big and like
and we're not in it.
we're not in it, and people can like create offshoot like factions once they have been accepted into one of these societies, they can like
Or
found
not.
their own or not, which my people were not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they start their own
Yeah.
lodge and then just make it up as they go.
Uh-huh.
There's too much. There's no way we could ever cover it. There could be like a 500-year-long podcast only about Freemasonry, and we still wouldn't cover it.
And
all.
it would still kind of be pointless because they're all different. They're not beholden to a single set
like
of
code
rules.
of ethics or honors. Yeah,
No.
it's bizarre.
It's
At least the
it's so
Rotary
loose.
Club has like a clear mission. Okay,
the Rotary Club.
God bless the Rotary Club.
The VFW.
Oh, I love the VFW.
Love a VFW.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quick side note. When I was in Galena, Illinois last
So
fall,
cute.
I love Galena. We were at the VFW right on that like main street. It is
Duh.
so clean. The bartender was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
There were like not slot machines, like the gamblers in the back. So that's where Corey posted up the whole time. There
Hell
was
yeah.
Wheel of Fortune on the TV.
Duh.
They had popcorn.
It's heaven.
It was heaven.
Stale popcorn.
It's heaven. Mhm.
No, it was fresh. It was a beautiful VFW. Immaculate. There was all, like old guys in like overalls and
Yeah.
suspenders at the bar. And I was
Yeah.
shouting out the answers to Wheel of Fortune. And I swear to God, one of them was white nationalist. It wasn't,
probably.
but it kind of looked like it. So I shouted out white
Oh,
nationalist.
the answer. Okay,
And they all
don't-
turned around. Like,
Damn.
Wheel of Fortune.
No.
You were
wrong. Oh, no.
The bartender took a real shine to me.
I'm sure he
After
did.
that or
She
before?
did. It took about $40 in tips for 2 rounds of drinks. She loved us. Anyway,
Wow.
love the VFW in Galena. Check it out if you have the opportunity. Okay, so I talked about Shriners. Okay, so you might be aware that there is a list of like famous Freemasons.
Mm.
And I forgot to put this in my notes, but I found the website. These are just a few. So Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Winston Churchill, FDR, J. Edgar Hoover, boo. Amanda Voltaire was a Freemason,
No way.
which makes perfect sense because he was such a major figure in the Enlightenment.
Correct.
Mozart was a Freemason. Mark Twain. Mm-hmm. And my favorite, well, also Jesse Jackson, Steve Wozniak, and my favorite, Michael Richards.
Oh my.
Which
Keith
one's Michael
Richards.
Richards?
The guy who played, what's his name? In Seinfeld? Kramer.
Oh.
Oh.
The guy who...
Isn't he
White
like?
nationalist.
Yeah, he's like.
I know.
not
It's just such
good.
it was such a
He's
random...
problematic.
It was such a random person to be included on this
Yeah.
list.
Oh, and
Ugh.
Kramer. George Washington.
And
Mark
Kramer
Twain.
from Seinfeld.
The guy who played Kramer, who went on a really racist rant at a stand-up comedy thing a few years ago.
Sure did.
Anyway, so lots of famous Freemasons. And then again about like the fraternity and the connection stuff. Of course, it makes sense that like all these world leaders were Freemasons. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about those restrictions. This is from history.com. Traditionally, Freemason membership has only been open to men. In the group's 1723 constitutions, which I mentioned as sort of a guidebook, women and atheists were excluded along with enslaved people.
Well, I'm double out
Right. Same.
as a female atheist.
Yeah, we're clear out.
Yep.
Now, Masons come from all walks of life as long as they can afford to pay the annual fees. And this is just overarching
Which
this.
are.
I don't know what it is.
Depends.
Oh,
It,
God.
it depends on the lodge. Again, there is no one set of
There are
rules
no
for
laws.
any of these.
It's the Wild West.
Women are allowed to join an affiliated organization called the Order of the Eastern Star.
Oh,
I've
we'll
heard
get to
of
her.
that.
Boys, young men, may join the Order of de Molay or the Order of the Builders. And girls may join the Order of Job's Daughters or the Order of the Rainbow.
Okay.
Okay.
While some lodges recognize more diverse membership, quote, Freemasonry is not as universal as it claims, since in many countries, women and atheists are still excluded. In the US and Europe, it can vary from city to city and lodge to lodge. Since there is no national organization in the US, many of the rules are left up to individual lodges to enforce, and this has led to some controversial rulings. Particularly in southern states, Freemasonry remains segregated. Several Grand Lodges still refuse to recognize Prince Hall Freemasonry, i.e. African American Masons.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Fucking great.
You can't learn our handshake.
Yeah.
He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, so let's get to the symbols. I have some symbols.
There are so many.
Which will be on the blog. Again, from History Channel. Freemasons have long communicated using visual symbols drawn from the tools of stonemasonry.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that, like, what the fuck's it called? A compass.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the all-seeing eye, or the eye of providence, which, while not designed by Masons, has been used by the group to represent the omniscience of God.
Isn't that what's on the dollar bill?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a whole like Illuminati element to all of this
Just
shit.
because a lot of those dudes who, for example, designed the dollar bill were probably associated with the Freemasons.
Yeah, it's not that like clandestine.
It's kind of
It's not that big of
straight
a
line.
secret. Yeah.
It's a totally open secret, straight line.
Yep.
Everybody calm down. The Denver airport is not compromised.
No,
Although
It's a
it
cool
might
airport, though.
be.
It's a sweet
very
airport.
cool airport.
the most well-known Freemason symbol, which is the square and the compass. Okay, that's what the compass depicts a builder's square joined by a compass, and the G at the center remains subject to dispute. So some experts at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, ever heard of it, for example, believe that the G in the symbol center represents geometry, which is obviously a critical field to the first Freemasons, while
Sure.
others believe it represents G for God, the quote-unquote grand architect of the universe. I like that
G
it's
for
geometry.
gangsta.
True.
Well, that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the geometry thing. It all goes back to math, and it is not, again, tied to a specific religion.
Mm-hmm.
The square and compass remains a popular symbol on Masonic rings. And then there's another lesser-known Masonic symbol drawn from nature, and that is the beehive. So they say that Masons were originally working men who were supposed to be as busy as bees, and the beehive symbolizes the industriousness of the lodge
Is that why
they belong
it's the
to.
Bay Hive because of the Illuminati? Oh my God, it also goes back.
Definitely.
Is she our queen? Our Illuminati queen?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Love it.
Despite one of the regular Freemason tenets being a belief in a supreme being and the organization having a lot of elements of Christianity, for example, morality, charity, etc., plus charges of prejudice against Jews, women, and people of color.
Just like
A
Jesus would have
cornerstone of
wanted.
Christianity. Yep.
Mhm.
Freemason.
Just like Jesus lived his life. Oh, wait.
Yeah, a brown Jew
Who was BFFs with women.
with all the whores
It's fine.
and
Freemasonry.
love to destroy property. He's the first table flipper. Teresa Giudice got nothing on Jesus, y'all.
Table flipper.
It's in the Bible.
He flipped
Were
a
you-
table.
He flipped a table in like protest of some like at some fucking I don't know. I'm obviously not well versed in this, but it's a whole. I'll find it. It's a whole thing.
He was at some restaurant. He pulled out a book.
Was at a restaurant. No, 3 Christians out there are like, yes, she's right. I'm gonna Google it. Jesus flipping.
I'll find it. Is our other most used phrase.
Hang on, I'll find it.
Aha! Jesus flip table, Mark 11:15 through 17. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple area and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. So he was like trying to eat the rich. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise to the temple courts.
No
Boom,
doves.
bitch.
All right. Well,
Wow.
He fucked up that Jerusalem target.
I guess that
yeah.
Lutheran education really paid off.
Boom. Boom. People over property, babes. That was a tenet of Jesus Christ.
He just really hated doves.
hated doves, which can you blame them? They're just expensive pigeons. Yeah. Like, what are you trying to fucking prove? You're all squab in the end.
Maybe they couldn't break his 20 and he got pissed off. And just
probably. It might have been a little more than that, but
whatever.
all I know is
It made the Bible.
Confirm,
It made the
table
Bible.
flipper. Made the Bible.
Okay, despite
This wine
all
is
of that
really
shit,
good.
I can tell. Freemasonry itself, as I said, is not a religion and in fact has some major beef with one denomination in particular. The Catholic Church first condemned Freemasonry in 1738, prompted by concern over Masonic temples and the secret rituals performed within them. You can't have secrets. You won't tell us.
That's only for our men.
Not in my house.
Only our men can wear robes and light incense and hold up chalices and chant.
We started it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In the 19th century, the Vatican even called the Masons, quote, the synagogue of Satan. Okay, calm down.
Anti-Semitism.
Calm down.
Check. The church even went even further in 1983, declaring, quote, their principles have always been considered irreconcilable with the doctrine of the church, and therefore membership in them remains forbidden. The faithful verboten. The faithful who enroll in Masonic associations are in a state of grave sin and may not receive the Holy Communion.
Oh, the holy cookie.
Pick a side.
You don't get the Fig Newton.
They're so gross. Ugh, they're so dry.
The holy Newton.
The holy wafer. The Catholic Church isn't the only group distrustful of the Freemasons. Because of their secretive meetings and handshakes and whatnot, all the cool stuff we can't have, a ton of conspiracy theories surround the fraternity to this day. Beehive. In fact, the first third-party political party in the U.S. was called the Anti-Masonic Party, formed in 1828. That's why we have a third party. Well, maybe not. It was the original reason for the third party.
In fairness, a lot of those early presidents were Masons.
Yeah.
And somebody got pissed.
It wasn't fair. So to round us out, what is the argument for modern Freemasons? Since obviously it's kind of a mess and pretty outdated in a lot of its tenets.
Yeah, spice it up a little bit. Nobody wants to go bowling all the time.
I do. I was on a bowling league.
I love bowling.
For a while, and I had my own bowling ball, and it was personalized, but it said Martha on it.
It was personalized to someone else.
It was secondhand, but personalized, but not to me.
It had a monogram. Not mine.
Not
Was
mine.
this your other
I
personality?
didn't have a club foot, but no, I got it from
Martha.
My ex and I were on a bowling league together, and his parents had been on a bowling league, but they didn't bowl anymore, and they gave us their personalized bowling balls. So I used Martha's and he used his dad's.
That's really cute. I love it. Okay, from NPR, Freemasons argue that the reason to uphold the fraternity goes beyond maintaining historic traditions or belonging to something that once bore immense influence. It might not be a secret society full of presidents and powerful men pulling the strings of society from the shadows, but that's never been the point for these members. Instead, they join to establish friendships outside of work and vibe with a community that isn't divisive. You can tell this was written by a Freemason. That's what a
Tell me you're a
Freemason would say.
Freemason without telling me you're a Freemason.
At a time in which polarization and division within the U.S. are growing more intense, Freemasons say it's refreshing to spend time with people who aren't arguing. Okay. So again, it boils down to being a social club. They raise money for things. That's great. They don't allow women. That's not so great.
It's important to spend time with other people who don't want to hang out with Jewish
With their
folks,
wives.
women, or people of
with
color.
white Anglo-Saxon men.
And
We
then
don't want
we
to
all
fight
get
anymore.
along.
Yeah, we just can't we all just get along?
It's so crazy.
It's the weirdest thing. We're so
All
like-minded.
rich white old men, and we just never argue.
We have no problems here. It's amazing.
It's the magic of this fraternity.
No one's nagging about human rights.
Yeah, my bitch wife isn't telling me to take the garbage out.
My bitch wife.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
She can't even come in here legally.
Okay.
And I got kicked out of my swingers group. Okay.
Anyway, Freemasons.
I like don't even
She
know.
doesn't know where to begin.
Yeah.
She wrote notes and still doesn't know where to begin.
Correct. So I'm gonna be.
This is gonna be a doozy, y'all.
It's a doozy.
no.
Couple
I'm
trigger
so
warnings.
glad I'm drinking. Trigger warning?
Yes.
Ma'am.
This is a crime podcast. Did you know that?
What?
Okay, so
That was a ranting podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the fuck? That is not what I signed up
Oh
for.
shit, I'm in the wrong place.
oh,
This is a my personal interests with my friends podcast. Don't get it twisted.
This is an I frequently forget we're recording this for later release podcast.
yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be discussing the Order of the Solar Temple. So trigger
Yes.
warning, there's going to be some French because it's actually like based in French-speaking countries.
I really
just trigger
appreciate a
warning for
trigger
French.
warning for your fucking French.
L'Ordre du Temple Solaire.
Oh God.
And it is banane. And there are holograms and
Holograms.
holograms. And it's crazy and bonkers, and there are parts that are fun, and then it gets super dark.
It's weird that it
And-
gets dark for a solar temple.
Yeah. And also there are child victims. Okay. So Joseph de Mombro was born in rural France in 1924.
Mambro.
Mambro Italiano, Mambro. Go.
Psychopath. He didn't go to college and instead was trained in traditional clockmaking and worked in the jewelry business.
Okay.
Oh, now you have a friend in the diamond business.
This is some
The
S-Town
Shane
shit
Company.
already.
Yeah, he also
yeah.
like moved to Switzerland and was a clockmaker, so it's perfect.
Amazing.
But Joseph's real passion was the occult, and in 1956 he joined the ancient and mystical order of the Rosé Crucis, or Amorc.
Okay.
So Rosé Crucis is like the rosy cross.
Okay.
Whatever, I don't fucking know. It's one of those orders.
Okay.
Over the years, he became big in the New Age and occult circles and founded a lot of different groups, including the Center for the Preparation of the New Age in Annemasse, France. And in 1973, and he also formed La Pyramide in Geneva, Switzerland, which later rebranded to the Golden Way Foundation.
Okay.
So he's just forming groups, okay, New Agey
Got it.
groups.
Yep.
Eventually,
Makes sense.
De Mombro became a leader in the Great White Brotherhood.
Oh,
Ooh.
no. That doesn't sound great.
Is that what it sounds like?
It's, yes.
It's not what it sounds like.
Correct.
Well, it
It's,
could be a bad translation. I don't know.
it's in Europe, so it's not it's not like the KKK,
Sure.
but it is all white.
yeah. It's
and-
not unlike the KKK.
Right. And basically, it's a group of rich white men who believe themselves to be evolved beings who were there
Mhm.
to help guide the evolution of the human race.
Okay.
So there was some
Eugenics.
master race stuff, but not, I don't know.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's not the same as the KKK,
Yeah.
but it's not good.
Correct.
Yeah.
He also claimed to be an incarnation of several prominent ancient figures, including but not limited to Moses and the Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten. Ever heard of him?
I mean, no.
Moses,
I've heard of Moses.
Okay.
I haven't heard of the other
I've heard
guy.
of Akhenaten.
a major pharaoh.
Obo Shinaten.
Cotton.
Botten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ancient pharaoh Akhenaten.
Mhm.
So the pharaoh piece will tie into this later on because it's the solar stuff, the sun god, a lot of like sun worship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
My adult
pyramids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it all ties together. So then in the early 1980s, de Mombro met Luc Jouret, who was a homeopathic doctor and New Age health speaker. Also, there are photos on the drive of both of these dudes, and I feel like you need to see what they each look like.
Oh,
so do you
good.
see...
I don't like the title of your very first photo. Oh my God. I gotta scroll.
Joseph de Mombro, you see his glasses and his hair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ugh, I don't like him.
And then
Okay.
Luc Jouret is like a little bit younger looking, I guess. I don't
I'm
know.
a little mad that Joseph de Mombro stole my wedding cape idea.
A lot of
About
capes.
60 years in advance of my wedding.
Is that a spot on the photo, or does he have a tiny round mustache?
No, he does have a tiny round but
Oh,
his mouth is really small.
I think
and
it's
then
a
the
pen dot.
mustache.
I think it's a pen dot on the photo.
It just
Oh,
looks
maybe you're
like
looking- Oh,
a
that
tiny
guy.
little round mustache.
Okay, that I wasn't looking at him, but yeah, no, that's not.
All right. So these are the two guys that we're dealing with, okay?
Got
Yeah.
it.
De Mombro and Jouret. So they meet up, and again, de Mombro's a clockmaker, and Jouret is a homeopathic doctor and a New Age health speaker. Jouret was already a member of another occult group called the Renewed Order of the Temple, but when these two met, they got along really well. They were brosifs, and in 1984, they saw an opportunity to form their own group, the Order of the Solar Temple. So they founded this new group, and that's the one we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
Okay.
So this group was based on the ideas of the Knights Templar, which was a medieval group suppressed by the papacy in the early 14th century and the Crusades and all that shit. Right? Not going
Yep.
into it. I thought we'd talk about it more at the top, but it's fine.
Sorry to disappoint.
Nailed it.
It's fine.
We're doing great.
So the Order of the Solar Temple belief structure is built around the following principles. Establishing, quote, correct notions of authority and power in the world, which I think this just relates to like realizing who really holds power in the world, and like, surprise, it's these two guys. Like, according to these two guys, it's them.
Okay.
I'm the problem, it's me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
An affirmation of the primacy of the spiritual over the temporal, i.e., this life doesn't matter, so do everything I say for a chance at bliss in the next life.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
No
like,
notes. Got
yeah,
it.
No notes.
like
Yep,
deprive
sounds great.
yourself of money, like vows of poverty, vows of like chastity, unless you're like sleeping with the leader, like all the cult shit, right? Because it all that matters is that in the next life you'll change salvation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Assisting humanity through a, quote, great transition. And there's going to be a lot more about this, but basically, like, at first it was like, we're going to evolve the human race and we're going to become more evolved, higher plane spiritual beings. And then it was like, we're all going to die. So watch out for Kool-Aid and matching Nikes.
Oops. Oh no. It was Flavor Aid, by the way.
Right. Preparing for the second coming of Christ, who is also a solar god king.
Cool.
Okay.
I want to be a solar god king.
Mhm. Lots of references to the sun and fire and burning. And de Mombro would say that like fire was his element. And so it would be like through fire that he would like leave this world and enter the next world, whatever. We'll get to the fire.
Okay.
And the unification of all Christian churches and Islam,
Mm.
but no mention of Jews, Hindus, Shinto, or anyone else. Yeah. Still keeping the Jews out, but we're going to unite with Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So again, kind of back to the Crusades.
Mm-hmm.
So de Mombro focused on conducting the rituals of the group, and a lot of these were held in a garage that they converted into a sacred temple, and I'm going to need you to look at those pics.
Oh, golly.
It's very red.
The interior?
Oh, Lord.
That pic?
Temple interior.
Very gaudy.
Yikes.
Very gaudy. I love the drop ceiling, though.
That's like a Swiss garage with like a drop ceiling, missing tiles, and like white folding chairs, and then just like a giant red floor and a pentagram with like a pedestal in the middle.
Are those candles?
Lots of candles.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
A man lives here. Men think it's
Definitely.
okay to live like this.
To just have one folding chair and a TV and then a fuck
And
ton
a
of
bright
candles.
red floor.
Yeah,
And a
red floor, red
pentagram
walls.
on the floor.
Missing tiles on their ceiling. Yes, a man designed this.
Yep.
Hands down.
Well, Juré would travel, give speeches, and recruit new members. He was the more like public facing, and then de Membro was the like inner facing. Juré was primarily interested in attracting wealthy and upper class members, and the cult reportedly had several affluent European members, including millionaire businessmen, police, allegedly even politicians. Like they weren't huge in terms of numbers, but they got like some prominent people to be involved because they were pitching this like exclusive membership thing of like, we're these evolved superior beings and you're one of us. And then they would always be like, oh, I've gotten this message from the beyond and you're the reincarnation of Joseph of Arimathea or whatever. And like, you get to level up to this color robe right away. And everyone else, it takes them years to get to this color robe.
Okay.
And then people would be like, oh my God, I'm special. I'm amazing. And then they'd be hooked.
Got it. All right.
So recruiting, brainwashing, and controlling every aspect of the lives of the well-heeled is a lucrative game. One ex-member, quote, Rosemary Klaus, said that she and her hubby were burned for about $500,000 in an organic farm scheme near Trois-Rivières, and others lost millions.
What year?
80s.
Wow.
1980s and 90s.
Yikes, that's a lot.
It's a lot of money. But they were targeting rich people on purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge scam.
So while de Membro and Juré were French citizens, the sect's headquarters was in Zurich, Switzerland, and Juré mainly resided in Quebec, Canada, and the presence was pretty global but focused on the Francophone world because like Google Translate wasn't a thing yet. So it was like France, Switzerland, French-speaking Canada, Martinique, whatever.
Yeah.
The central authority for OTS was called the Synarchy of the Temple. I don't know what that fucking means. And membership for the group was kept secret.
Got it. Okay.
Its top 33 members, and 33 is another important like symbol in this cult and in the Bible. And Jesus was 33 years old when he died and all that shit.
Yeah, it's one of those fucking like cosmic numbers or whatever.
It's Corey's football number.
Wow.
Luck.
Illuminati. Okay.
Truly magical.
Oh my God, he's a Freemason.
I could see Corey being a Freemason.
I couldn't.
He doesn't care that much.
There it is.
So 33, there are supposedly 33 sacred teachings that members would have to learn, but it was all like one at a time. It's very like Scientology-esque of like when you first enter, like you can't be given all the knowledge yet because you're not ready to accept all the knowledge. And it's only after you're like, hooked in for a while, then you can like level up to the next whatever sacred teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
So there are 33 top members, and they were known as the Elder Brothers of the Rosy Cross, also called the Rosicrucians.
Ooh.
The Council of the Order then formed lodges that were run by a regional commander and 3 elders, and it all just becomes really like Dan Brown, the Da Vinci Code. Turns out like he just ripped all of that from this. Basically,
it was based on that.
Yeah.
He didn't say it was his own ideas. It was based on this.
Right.
Sure.
So in each lodge, there were different levels and grades, 3 per level, all the 3s. And in ascending order, we have the Brothers of Parvis. No idea, didn't look it up. The Knights of the Alliance and the Brothers of the Ancient Times. And it annoys me a lot that it's brothers, knights, and brothers. Like it should either be all the same or all different.
Got it. Okay.
But anyway.
Okay.
That's just my ADHD showing.
I love it, babes.
So
Love her.
choose Elaine, Brothers of Parvis.
Elvis.
So the lodges all had altars, rituals, and costumes, mostly different colored robes, each color different meaning, like karate belts,
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm a purple belt in Freemasonry, so
Yeah.
fuck you.
So Luc Jouret was handsome and charismatic, and he, quote, had the air of a gentleman. And he did an excellent job recruiting new cult members while also maintaining the air of elitism and exclusivity that these new recruits craved. In 1989, membership peaked at 442 people around the globe. So not a ton of people, but if they're given each $500,000 or $1 million, you're doing fine. Also, I feel like it matters that, like, in Europe, they're recruiting from amongst a lot of, like, new money people who are probably looking to break into some level of society that, like, socially they've been denied because they're, like, tradespeople that have made money instead of, like, nobility. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. And indeed, part of what would be so chilling after the fact was how outwardly normal most sect members seemed. They looked like businessmen. Quote, there was nothing crazy about them.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Joseph de Mombro was busy becoming a more and more unhinged dear leader.
Dear leader.
He'd had a daughter, Emmanuelle, in 1982. I couldn't find anything about his wife, but he was married. And like any doting father, he considered his baby girl to be a, quote, celestial entity destined to lead the upcoming new age.
Classic daddy's girl.
Typical.
His mission became playing matchmaker among his flock, handpicking romantic partners for individuals in an effort to, quote, produce exceptional offspring.
Oh, no.
Who would eventually aid Emmanuelle in accomplishing her mission for the new dawn of humanity.
Okay.
So kind of like the devil's advocate, you know?
Yeah.
They're trying to create the Antichrist. It's a little bit different. But you know what I mean? He basically was like, you and you are going to have a baby, and I think it'll be good. And if it's good, then Emmanuelle can fuck it when she's older. Anyway.
Okay, great.
Great. What every father wants.
Yeah.
So he would routinely force existing married couples who had joined to break up and then form new marriages with other people in the cult. And sometimes there were large age gaps, but he didn't care. And he just like put people together as he saw fit, and they just did it.
Yeah, because what is age? It's a human folly.
Right.
Yeah, he can see past it. So things were booming in cult land in the 1980s, but then in the early 1990s, they went rapidly downhill. So we've talked about de Mombro's daughter, Emmanuelle, the celestial entity. But he also had an older son, Elie, who became skeptical about his father's so-called visions. Elie realized that the divine messages that his father attributed to the Great White Brotherhood masters and that were witnessed by multiple order members and like used as his justification. It basically would have like seances,
Right.
and be like, they're telling me that you two need to get married and you two need to give more in donations and you need to whatever. And it's not me saying this. It's the Great White Brotherhood masters telling me this from on high.
This is so
All of
twisted.
this was fabricated using special effects and holograms. So he was like a, like tapping under the table and like a fog machine and like all that
Spiritualism.
shit.
Special effects guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And his son found out about it. And so disgusted, Elie chose to reveal his father's fraud to the rest of the group. And that provoked several members to quit and then sue the order for fraud.
Okay.
And then even those who chose to remain, who were more devout, they too began to grumble after this about their living conditions. And they noticed like the inequity between their imposed poverty. Like they all took like vows of poverty, whatever, like they're the fucking Knights Templar. And then the growing wealth of Demambro and Jure and the other leaders. And they're like, wait, something's up.
Something's off.
Something's off. And they weren't quite like deprogrammed yet. They're still in it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're starting to be like, well, how come they don't have to take a vow of poverty?
Sure.
Yeah. So financial contributions begin to dry up. So shit is starting to crack.
Hitting the fan.
And then even more shit hit the fan.
Cool.
So Luc Jure gets arrested in Canada for trying to buy guns, which was the final nail in the coffin for his reputation in Quebec.
I always want guns.
Mhm.
Well, yep.
Yup.
So before this, they were also, quote, suspected of bombing Hydro-Quebec transmission towers and plotting to obliterate indigenous reserves.
Cool.
They had their hands in a lot of pots.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
The eugenics thing. The white guy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Jure had also been leading hard into the like classic like cult leader sexual coercion, like I'm the next Christ, so therefore I get to fuck whoever I want.
Mm-hmm. Natch.
Game.
Mm-hmm.
So he was fucking all his female followers, and that was starting to piss off other followers, like other members. And he was becoming embroiled in a leadership battle for the Canadian turf leadership, but we don't have time to get into it. But shit is starting to crack on both continents.
Mm-hmm.
And following the rift with his son, Joseph Demambro was diagnosed with cancer.
Uh-oh.
And it was going to be fatal. Like he had like however many months left to live. And like any sane person, he decided that if he has to die, he might as well take all of his followers with him.
Well, sure. You don't want to be lonely in the afterlife.
The flavor aid. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Flavor aid.
So the Order's apocalyptic vision starts to ramp up. And the leaders start to speak about the deterioration of the earth due to pollution, natural disasters, world conflicts. They start to just really like hone in on like how bad life is and it's the end times kind of thing.
And don't you want to get away from it?
Don't you want to reach
Don't you
salvation?
want to leave it all?
Yeah. So living on Earth was becoming more and more untenable, and thus the idea of, quote, transitioning to another place became more logical for both leaders and members.
Okay.
So Jure and Demambro began pushing the concept of transit. So voluntarily...
They're not driving, they're traveling.
Yeah, correct. They don't need a license plate.
A regular license plate. The shrinky dink is valid.
Correct.
Sir, this is not a license. It's a napkin.
It's an app.
It's basically...
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
It's basically like Heaven's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna... Yeah.
Yeah, but Heaven's Gate was like way less problematic.
You just love Heaven's Gate.
I love them so much. They were so gentle and their
just
haircuts
love
were
Heaven's
so
Gate.
stupid.
Heaven's Gate was also like so short-lived.
It was.
This has a lot of fucking baggage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This went on too long.
So, at first, transit is just described as like a change in consciousness because it's all like new agey or whatever. And so they're like, we're going to like spiritually transit to the next plane of consciousness, but then it quickly evolves into preparation for a very physical transfer of their bodies and themselves to another planet or universe.
Okay.
Yikes.
This is very Heaven's Gatey.
Yeah. Other details were fuzzy at first, too. DeMambro didn't seem to know exactly how they would travel between planets. Sometimes he mentioned passage through a mirror or through fire, other times via spaceship. So yeah.
Okay.
We got some Heaven's Gate happening. We've got some Scientology happening.
Go off, kings.
Soon, members were being kept on a 24-hour alert for a special meeting that would accomplish the transit. So this is
That's
basically
a bit much.
That's just sleep deprivation. They're just
24-hour alert.
They're just keeping people on edge so that they're more easy to manipulate when the time comes to transit.
Yeah.
Waiting for Hail Bop.
Yeah. But in 1993, their thunder was fucking stolen by events in Waco, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And they were pissed.
Overshadowed by the Texans.
Oh, no, they literally were pissed. It's like Waco wore white to their wedding. Like, they are like, they literally,
all the fire. He's such a pyromaniac.
Holy shit.
So the following is from a taped conversation between Juré and DeMambro following Waco.
Oh, my God.
DeMambro, quote, actually, do you guys want to do it?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Who wants to be who?
I want to be Hey Mambo.
Hey, Mambo. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Let me.
Now you have to do French accents, both of you. Okay. So she's DeMambo, and you're
Yep.
Juré.
I'm Luc Joret.
And I am Joseph DiMambro.
Okay.
People have beaten us to the punch, you know?
Waco beat us to the punch. Zut alors.
Sacre bleu!
Sacre bleu.
In my opinion, we should have gone 6 months before them. What we'll do will be even more spectacular.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Well, that was spectacular.
The Oscar goes to
Bravo.
Zut alors.
I just love, well, yeah, Waco beat us to the punch.
So stupid.
Like, well, now we got to really pick it up.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Oh, my God.
Don't mess with Texas.
Okay, so, I guess spectacular is one word for it. I might have gone with another word like heinous or senseless tragedy, but you
Or
be the
just not
judge.
great.
Preventable.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. You know.
On October 4th, 1994, DeMambro kicked off the first transit with an act of barbarity so gruesome it made headlines around the world.
Oh, no.
That was just the kickoff.
Yes. There will be 3 transits. This first part is just the first transit.
Oh,
And it's real bad.
Great.
Okay, so it's a little bit complicated. So Order members Antonio Dutoit and his wife Nikki Robinson Dutoit worked closely with DeMambro, performing odd jobs for their leader, including handling lighting during certain temple ceremonies.
They love their special effects.
Mm-hmm.
really do.
Antonio was in charge of the special effects that DeMambro used to convince his followers of his magic power. So Antonio was the special effects guy.
The hologram guy.
So he also knew too much, and I think that is part of this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, he could be the one to, like, if he ever left the cult or got deprogrammed, he would be the one to be like, well, this is how he did this, and this is how he
He'd
does
get the
that,
book
and it's
deal.
all bullshit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's behind the curtain.
Right.
Mhm.
Literally pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Nikki, the wife, would often babysit celestial entity Emmanuel.
Sorry. I forgot he was a celestial entity.
Totally forgot
She.
about
She.
Emmanuel.
She.
Okay, she.
But DeMambro was infuriated when Antonio and Nikki, this couple, had a baby boy and named him Christopher Emmanuel.
Like they stole his daughter's name?
For the middle name.
Celestial being? Okay.
DeMambro had a history of controlling when women in the cult had babies and deciding what the babies would be named, but he apparently had not been consulted by the Dutois.
I don't love that.
Did he not notice that his babysitter was Soup's preg before he got pissed off about this?
They wear those big dresses. And...
He's mostly pissed about the name.
He's really into politeness.
It's all about control.
Yeah. The Waco thing, though, also.
I mean, I'd be pissed if someone named their
Wore
baby
white to my wedding.
baby's name.
Stole my idea.
If some wine and crime listener was like, I named my baby Sonia Jessica after your baby, I'd be like,
I'm going to name my next cat Sonia Jessica just to really get you.
Get a bird and name it that. It'll really piss her off.
And a bird. It's going to shit everywhere. Classic Sonia.
oh my God. Okay.
Sonia,
Little birdie
shut the
SJ. Sonia, get in your cage.
I hate Sonia. She's really pissing me off today. Shit all over the living room again.
Oh,
She did,
every
though.
time.
Oh, no.
DeMambro had even expressly forbidden using the name Emmanuel in his group because he maintained that his child was the cosmic Christ child and therefore no one else could use her name.
Okay.
Sure.
Also, had to have made her brother feel like shit. But anyway. So he's fucking pissed. And also he has cancer and knows that he's dying. So he has nothing to live for.
He's fucking pissed, and also he has cancer. So there's that.
So he focuses all of his rage on this couple and their baby, and he decides that this 3-month-old baby is the Antichrist.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. For sure. Yeah.
And so he orders 2 of his followers to kill the entire Dutois family.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so it's a little bit confusing because DeMambro was mostly in Switzerland and this family is in Canada, but he bounces around. And it also is a little bit confusing online. There are 2 different couples that are identified as the killers, but I'm going to go with what I think is true.
Okay.
And I'm not a journalist, so this is what I could glean from the internet. Colette and Jerry Genoux are members and a couple, and they had been cosmically paired by DeMambro.
Mm-hmm.
And they invite the Dutois over to their house on September 30th, 1994.
What?
And
My day of birth?
Mhm. And the Dutois don't suspect anything, and they show up, and they are immediately attacked brutally as soon as they arrive. I also read that the killers were these other members, Joel Egger and Dominique Belaton, and I don't know the answer, but it could be that the Genoux did the attacking, or they just were in on it enough to invite them over, and then these other 2 people flew into Canada to do the actual killing.
God.
Okay.
Okay, so like I said, the Genoux were close to DeMambro. He had cosmically paired them when Jerry was 35 and Colette was 60.
Classic.
Okay. Cougar. Got it.
So,
Okay, cougar.
Cougar, got it. Antonio, the dad of the Antichrist,
Mm-hmm.
not actually.
Keeping up.
The innocent father
Right.
was stabbed 50 times in the back.
That's a lot of times to be stabbed.
Nikki, the wife, was stabbed no fewer than 20 times in the back, chest, and throat.
Ooh.
Oh no.
And baby Christopher was stabbed 6 times with a wooden stake.
No. Little baby.
Innocent fucking baby. 3-month-old baby. It's horrific.
They had to use the stakes to use the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
Like a vampire.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Okay.
Fucking
It's
yikes.
I know I just keep making like allusions to other things, but it's very Charles Manson.
Yeah. They are borrowing from so many other cultures.
Mhm.
Well, there's only so much creativity that could go into something like this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only so many ways to stab a person.
Mm-hmm. So then their bodies
There's
were...
only so many ways to stab a person.
Well,
It's fucking horrific. This poor family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
So they didn't have any other kids. It was just that baby. It was just the 3 of them.
Yeah. So then their bodies were wrapped in plastic bags, and these plastic bags were supposed to mark them as like traitors to the order. So like people who were killed in all these transits, who were having doubts or who didn't want to be killed or whatever, were in plastic bags. And then the people who went voluntarily didn't have plastic bags, basically.
Mm.
Oh.
So the Genoux or these other killers, I'm not sure, stuffed the Dutoit family into a closet in their house and cleaned up the blood. And then the killers fled the scene in the Dutoit's family car and then immediately flew out of Montreal and flew back to Switzerland to join join DeMambro and the rest of the group and like report back, basically. And then a few days later, other members firebombed the house and burned it down with the remains in it.
Mm-hmm.
So what did it matter if they were in plastic bags or not?
Well, they could tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also just a really fucked up detail.
Mm-hmm. On the same night as the burning down, across the world in, quote, 2 quiet Swiss villages, 13 cult members enjoyed a last supper and then killed themselves by poison.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So
Poison in their supper?
in their drinks.
How did they take it?
There's only so many ways to poison yourself.
We will get to it.
Oh,
good.
no.
It was in the most French way possible.
Red wine. A Bordeaux.
Champagne.
Oh, champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So authorities were alerted to these tragedies when a fire erupted in a home in the Swiss village of Chéry, followed by fires in 3 cottages in Granges-sur-Salvan. So in total, 48 members of the Order of the Solar Temple died in Chéry, and 25 more were killed in Salvan.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
So these
of
were all
people.
voluntary.
Not all. So it's a little bit messy. Many believe this wasn't purely a case of voluntary mass suicide. Investigations showed that some members had been murdered, with most of the Chéry victims having taken a sedative before being shot, while victims in Salvan had all been poisoned.
Oh dear. Okay.
So basically, it's believed that many were drugged with like sedatives in their champagne, and then only champagne, and then only after that they were informed that they would be transitioning that day, and then once they were like sedate and asleep or mostly asleep, they were then shot. And those who like fought it when they were told that they had been sedated and before they were shot got the plastic bag.
They got bagged.
Yeah. And
Yikes.
one of the investigators was like talking about it, and he was like, they had to have been like heavily sedated because to shoot 48 people one by one, which is the weapon that they had, it was not like a machine gun, it was a gun. He was like, you have to, and it had to be reloaded each time or close to each time. He was like, you have to account for like 45 seconds per shot, and 48 people are being shot.
My God.
Hear them coming down the row.
That would take a while.
How many people were the shooters?
They only
know
had
who?
one gun, I think.
Oh. Do they know who the shooter
I don't know.
is?
I don't know. Probably one of the top
But presumably
people.
the shooter
Golly.
shot themselves too at that end.
Yes. So, okay. So, order writings about the event that survive indicate that while many were excited to be transitioning, some didn't want to die and they had to be, quote, helped along in their transition.
Okay.
Some in Quebec had been stabbed and then burned. Police theorize that the people who were considered traitors were shot in the head, sometimes multiple times, and had a plastic bag over their heads, and the bag was the sign for traitors. We talked about that. The last dozen included Demambro and Juret, and these were part of the order's inner circle, and they poisoned themselves that same night.
Okay.
Yeah.
In one of these groups that you already
In one
talked
of these chalets. Yeah, I think in the Salvant, the second one, where it was
Jesus.
25
Yikes.
and they all were poisoned. Yep.
That was
That's not
spectacular.
good. That's really not good.
So that's the first transit.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
how many were there?
3. And now we're
Oh,
going to
wait.
hear about the second one. So in December 1995, so like time passes. We have October 1994, and then more than a year later,
Oh my God.
this happens. So the group,
The two main ones are already dead.
the 2 leaders are already dead, but it's all
Yikes.
like lodges and they have like a leadership structure. So the
Mhm.
remaining lodges still exist and still have leaders.
Ugh.
And they're not, people aren't deprogrammed yet.
Pour that wine, girl.
So on the night of December 15th to 16th, 1995, 16 more people, including 3 children, were killed in Vercors, France. Investigations revealed that 14 of these victims had ingested sedatives and were shot twice, while the other 2, probably the last 2, sprayed their own bodies with an accelerant and set themselves on fire.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit. Holy shit.
No one said that the transition needed to be so violent.
Well-
They're obsessed with the fire.
Obsessed with the fire. That came from Demambro.
Christ.
Damn, mom, bro.
Fucking
You're a huge asshole. Damn, mom, bro.
literally cool it, Demambro.
And then finally, on March 22nd, 1997,
Oh my God.
the third transition took place. This was in St. Casimir, Quebec, and 5 people, so 4 order members and 1 parent of one of the members, died by suicide. Police discovered a letter explaining that they had taken this action to ensure their path to the New World and to like be reunited with the rest of the order.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking yikes.
And victims' bodies were dressed in their ceremonial robes, and they were in a circle with their feet together, heads outward,
Oh,
and
no.
several had plastic bags tied over their heads.
Oh.
A lot of traitors.
So presumably those ones had to be killed and then were arranged,
Mm-hmm.
and they were shaped like a sun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't like that.
And all of these transits happened either during an equinox or a solstice.
No, no. Don't ruin my celebratory calendar like that, bit.
They love a calendar.
They really do. Cults do love a calendar.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is the Order of the Solar Temple. I didn't
I have a question.
know about this. Yeah.
They fucked up a lot of shit.
How do we know? How does anyone know, or do we know that there are no more people of this cult who have the intention of having a 4th transition?
I don't know that we know that. I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that they are still out there. There were, at its peak, over 440 members in 1989.
So there weren't ever that many.
So there weren't ever that many, and like 73 of them or whatever died in these 3 transits, and some were deprogrammed before the transits. Some have probably passed away of natural causes by now.
Wow.
You know,
That's
nothing, as far as we
wild,
know,
dude.
nothing has happened since 1997.
Bro.
Truly bananas.
Nah.
It is
Ew, They were
bananas.
shaped like a
It's so
sun.
sloppy bananas.
Sloppy bananas.
The sloppiest.
I love how they just were like, people are finding out that we used a smoke machine, and also my son hates me and I have cancer, and so I'm just
So it's
gonna
like things aren't great, so I'm just gonna like kill a bunch of people.
Yep.
I also really like fire.
And I'm really pissed that you took my kid's name for your kid's middle name.
And also, fuck you, Waco.
Yeah, I'm also
We're
really
gonna one
pissed
up
about
you a
Waco.
bunch.
There was just a lot of rage. I know.
These like tiny men are so mad.
Waco beat us to the punch.
It was literally him getting pissed about a perceived etiquette,
slight
cult etiquette.
Mhm. And so
I
do you see
can't.
the pictures on the drive of like the burned out chalets and like
yeah, it's not great.
Oh
and then
my
there's
God.
a photo of DeMambro in like a gold shimmery cape with
that's what I'm
Emmanuel
saying.
at an
He's-
altar.
People being mad that they stole your baby name and like stole your Waco idea, but like I'm mad that you stole my cape. That's like basically my bridal cape.
It's a beautiful cape, though.
I'm pissed.
I think enough time has passed that you can wear that cape.
I also want you guys to watch just like 2 seconds of this video. So click on the link that says Swiss military intelligence officer. This is one of the investigators, and go to minute 550.
Oh no. Why are they all so dumpy? This is just a group of the dumpiest looking people.
Just listen to this man. Are you there?
Is
I'm
this the
listening.
video, the concept of the suicide cult?
Yeah. I just think he's so
No.
jaunty, this man.
I will follow him.
There's the investigators. The letters implied suicide. God.
The hypothesis of a suicide.
Suicide.
He's just the most Swiss man of all time.
It totally is.
I just had to share that. So anyway.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Bill has that suit.
Oh my God.
So that's the order of the Solar Temple.
Thanks, I hate it.
Wow.
I really hate it. But you did a great job.
Thank you.
Hadn't heard of it. I
I
kind
hadn't
of
heard of it either.
And for that
And a
reason,
lot of
I
people
kind of
died.
loved it.
Yeah.
That
Well
was
done.
fascinating. Good job.
Also,
Also,
should we take a quick
for the record, the Order of the Solar Temple and the Knights Templar are but one sect of the Freemasons. If I'd covered
Oh, yeah.
them, I would have had to cover 1,000 others.
I get it.
Oh, no, I know. I knew you weren't going to cover them. I thought
You
we're
said in
gonna-
your notes that I should have covered them.
I thought the
No,
Knights
she said she
Templar-
thought you'd cover more about the Knights Templar.
That's what
But
I'm
it's okay.
saying. They
I
are
have
one
a
of
Wikipedia
thousands.
blurb. Yeah, but they're pretty prominent. But I have a Wikipedia blurb on them, so we'll
be
it.
fine.
Are you ready for my case?
I'm tired from Kenyans.
Well, this is gonna lift you right back up.
Give me a jolt. Give me wings.
I will give you wings. Also, this has gotten me drunk.
It did its job. Its glittery job.
We're doing a drunk dive after this.
So I don't apologize. Here we go. A minister in aid to then California Attorney General Kamala Harris
Oh.
Never
and
heard
an
of her.
Emmy winner walk into a bar.
What?
Oh, I mean into a jail. My bad. 36-year-old Brandon Keel, his father-in-law, 46-year-old David Henry, and 56-year-old Reverend Tonette Hayes. Wow. That was a glittery burp. Were arrested in 2014 on multiple misdemeanor counts of impersonating police, perjury, and misuse of government identification.
And being eerily 1 decade apart in age.
Victimless crimes.
Yeah. Like all 3 of them.
I don't like that.
We got 36, we got 46, we got 56. The rule of 3. Maybe they are like divine.
Illuminati.
They are celestial beings.
They are. This ragtag trio may not have attended police academy, but they were part of a centuries-old secret society within the Masonic temple. Quote, according to a 2014 story in the LA Watts Times, Henry and Keel were members of Sir Briley's Knights of Luxor, Knights Templars, Grand Lodge AASR.
Too many fucking words. There are
Not
too
enough
many
words.
sects. Too many words.
Give me more words. Give me more sects.
There's
Sir
this.
Briley's Knights of Luxor, Knights Templars, Grand
Templars
Lodge.
Grand Lodge AASR.
Why is there a huge
ASMR.
name and then an acronym?
Why is
Stupid.
Knights listed twice?
Again, brothers,
Because
knights, knights.
Briley's Knights of Luxor and Knights Templars are 2 different things.
Right.
I think. I don't know.
Okay.
The Masonic Fraternal Police Department claims to be a 3,000-year-old law enforcement group descended from the Knights Templar.
Right.
God.
Connected with over 5,000 lodges nationwide that recognize their authority and claimed to have jurisdiction in 33 states as well as Mexico.
33.
And I, too, was curious about what the fuck Knights Templar was, so I scampered over to Wikipedia, and 2 sentences on that says, the Knights Templar is a fraternal order affiliated with Freemasonry, unlike initial degrees conferred in a regular Masonic lodge, which in most regular Masonic jurisdictions only require a belief in a supreme being, regardless of religious affiliation. The Knights Templar is one of several additional Masonic orders in which membership is open only to Freemasons who profess a belief in Christianity.
Great.
So it's a very specific Christian Freemason subgroup with a lot of rules, but we won't go there.
The regular ones. They're the hard ass ones.
So the Masonic Fraternal Police Department, the MFPD,
The non-cops.
the non-cops, they had a website which is now defunct, which I'm really sad about because I bet it was fucking awesome.
The graphics.
Oh, I'm sure. It was like the
Heaven's Gate website.
I was gonna say, it's like, it had to have been like Heaven's Gate website, but more
a
flashy.
dark background.
Yeah. There was probably a lot of gold, and we'll get to the
An
gold.
eagle.
Yeah.
Something flashing.
Exactly.
Spinning.
Oh, a song
An orb
automatically plays
slowly
when you get to their
spinning.
homepage.
Really?
Their top
Yeah.
8 must have been amazing.
Their top 8. Tom.
They somehow got Tom out of their top 8 and replaced it with Jesus. So their now defunct website stated, quote, Grand Masters around the various states are facing serious safety concerns for their jurisdictions and their family members. When asked, what is the difference between the Masonic Fraternal Police Department and other police departments? The answer is simple for us. We were here first.
3,000
We are
years ago.
3,000 fucking years ago.
We have a secret handshake.
Exactly. And really cool uniforms. We'll get to it. We are born into this organization. Our bloodlines go deeper than an application. Like for the police force.
Got it.
This is more than a job. It is an obligation. And then is spelled T-H-E-N. That was not me. I copied and pasted that.
Got it.
So their uniforms, they
All
did
lines
have they had police officer costume regalia, like to make them look like actual cops. but their more celebratory Masonic Fraternal Police Department, MFPD, outfits were sick as fuck.
So like their dress whites or whatever.
Oh, they're fucking dripping.
Okay.
The drip was so strong.
Okay.
Their uniforms were so much cooler than cops that if I was pulled over by one of these folks, I'd be like, here's all of my money.
I would submit.
I comply.
Oh.
Where do I apply?
Wow.
Is this
he
this
does
photo?
have a top hat.
There's a photo. Yep.
And
Like a silk top hat.
Like, what do you
Yep.
call
So if you
that
head to the drive/blog,
necklace thing that he's got?
I will describe this sick fit in detail.
The sick fit.
The gentleman you see adorned in a top hat, aviators, a fitted suit with gold and maroon cuffs embroidered in also gold, traditional Masonic symbols.
And fringe.
A lot of fringe. A Freemason chain collar depicting traditional Masonic symbols as well.
A priestly little collar thing.
So priestly. And holding a judicial gravel is David Henry. And this is a fit that like Lil Jon would wear.
I like his pocket square. It's one of the fancy ones with 4 points.
He honestly looks fucking fresh.
Yeah.
I
Like
might
this man
have
looks
to get
amazing.
This ensemble for Zach for his PhD graduation.
I honestly think that makes perfect sense. And I think he will wear it well.
Also, like, I can tell this man smells really good.
Oh, yeah. You know it. You know it. So his name is David Henry or the Supreme Sovereign Grandmaster David Henry X.
Yes.
Or 10. Either 10 or X. It wasn't explained.
Liquid 4.
Liquid 4.
Liquid 4.
Yellow 5.
My mom keeps calling Liquid IV Liquid 4. And it's so cute. Fucking Roman numerals.
I forgot about Liquid 4. Oh, honey. She's called me twice during this recording.
Yeah.
I have reminded her that we are not recording 1, but 2 episodes today, and she needs to just text me if she needs something. And she has not responded to that text message. So that's fine. Hi, Momar. A journalist
Not
for Vice
listening.
News, she's definitely not, was curious about Henry's regalia and called a California Masonic shop to learn more. Because they do, you know, they have
There's gotta be somewhere
Outfitters.
to consistently get your robes.
Masonic outfitters.
Can't rely on Amazon.
Yeah. Masonic
Mason.
Fropology. That's funny.
Yeah,
The
add
woman
it to
on the
the
other
list.
end of the line explained, quote, "We do sell chain collars, like that cool necklace he's wearing, but we only sell those to members of fraternities. I do not sell those to the general public." And whether Henry was an actual Freemason remained to be seen.
Just start your own group, Henry.
I mean,
No problem. Be like, oh,
Pretty
great, I started my own. Now sell it to me.
What thousands
Did it.
have done before you with
Yeah.
Yeah,
reckless abandon.
pretty much.
Doesn't mean anything.
Reverend Hayes represents the ladies, claiming to be a member of the Lady Jewel of the Nile Grand Chapter
Luck?
and the Order of the Eastern Stars.
Mm-hmm.
The order is a women-only affiliate of the Masons, but Shirley Broadnax, the Grand Secretary of the Golden State Eastern Stars, was skeptical that the Lady Jewel was even a legitimate group at all.
Why start
She gave-
there?
Why start there? Shirley gave an absolutely flawless soundbite saying, quote, "I know just about everything from coast to coast, and I ain't never heard of that." To which I say, you tell him, Shirley.
Yeah, she's like, Lady Jewel
I
of
call-
the Nile Grand Chapter? I don't think so.
Sounds
I call
fishy.
bullshit. I call bullshit. My name is Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. But the women's groups weren't the only ones trying to distance themselves from these three, and the only ones who staunchly denied the existence of any police order affiliated with the Freemasons. Quote, "Both the Masons of California, the umbrella group for 60,000 Masons in the state, and the Prince Hall Grand Lodge Masons, an offshoot organization of predominantly African-American men's group headquartered in Los Angeles, said that Henry and his group were unrelated to their organizations. And that is important because
he's just a free floater.
He's just a free floater, and oh my God, I can't think of words. I'm too drunk. This comment from this African-American Freemasons group is pertinent because the three that we're talking about today are Black.
Okay.
So they're like, not only are they not Freemasons in the like kind of what we know as old white man way, but also like the Black Freemasons of the United States and of California specifically are like, they're not with us. We do not know who they are.
They are their own group.
Somehow this man ordered a sick fit from somewhere.
His outfit is fucking amazing.
He doesn't
and
even
also,
go here.
He does not even go here.
It just reminds me of that shop in like Tonkawood or whatever that like sold all the like school uniforms.
And it's still open.
And like the patches for like
I can't.
the letter jackets.
God. Yeah.
Yes.
That's where we got our debate pants made. You can get trophies and medals for anything you want.
Yeah, they're just like a wall of different school uniforms and like a big catalog.
Also, I think this might be a throwback because, Lucy, didn't you quote Margaret Jacob in your seg?
I think so.
UCLA professor Margaret Jacob.
A woman.
Yes. An expert on Freemasonry said that she had never heard of either Sir Briley's Knights or Lady Jewel of the Nile. And, quote, doubted very much they are part of established and recognized Freemasonry.
What is recognized? One group's recognized as another group's trash.
There it is. So what we know for sure is that these folks are neither police nor actual Freemasons. And I also love this quote from a neighbor. Quote, I always see them with their uniforms, so I thought they were part of a department. I didn't know it was a fake one.
Oh.
Henry's neighbor, Sherry.
Will confer a lot of authority on a rando.
Straight up, I'd be like, oh.
A rando.
Okay, you work here.
Yeah.
Shirley was like, I just assumed they work for the police.
Fair.
Nope, didn't know. But they were going to do whatever they could to become real. You guys, this is so unhinged. I love it. Early in their endeavor, the trio were sending letters like incessantly to heads of local law enforcement agencies in Southern California announcing that David Henry had been elected as chief of the MFPD.
Oh.
The fictional MFPD. And when these departments understandably ignored the letters, they would then
Derek foldered the fuck out of that shit.
They would Derek folder the letters and then
straight up shredded them.
And then they'd make their little baby intern, 36-year-old Brandon Keel, call the departments to follow up on the letters that they sent.
Did you receive
did
our
you get my letter?
correspondence?
Did you get my letter?
Did you hear my joke?
Did you hear my joke? Did you get it? So sweet young Brandon would explain that he was the chief deputy director of the MFPD and wanted to meet with their higher-ups to figure out how the agencies could work together.
This is a fast track to being a police chief, is just make up your own police department.
I mean, yes, but the things that were of the jurisdiction of the MFPD are extremely limited, and we will get to it. So most departments didn't bite on a meeting, but one curious capture did. Captain Roosevelt Johnson of the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station.
That guy is definitely a Freemason in an actual lodge.
Yep.
Probably.
His name is Roosevelt.
Roosevelt
That's a first
Johnson.
name.
Captain Roosevelt
And
Johnson.
he's like,
Johnson.
I'm going to check this out. My lodge leader assigned me this meeting.
Got nothing better to do.
He recalls the meeting as being, quote, full of red flags. Saying
Not literal red flags, although that
No.
would be a good guess because it's all about uniforms.
It's true. The outfit could do well with the addition of red flags. I think that would
Maroon
be quite
flags.
good. Maroon flags. Maroon 5.
And gold.
Maroon 5 birds.
Saying they were not able to answer, quote, basic questions about MFPD's jurisdiction and overall department mission.
You need a mission statement. It's like the first
At
thing.
least. Detective Amalia Hernandez testified that during the meeting, Brandon Keel did much of the talking and said that the group would not handle 911 emergency calls and only matters pertaining to Masonic group.
Okay, but like, what if the 911 call has to do with the Masonic group?
They
The
stole
call
their
is coming from inside the house.
the lodge.
He just wants to be the police department for all of California's lodges.
Yeah,
Pretty
in case
much.
someone
And
steals their
lodges
scripture
in-
books.
And lodges in 32 additional states as well as Mexico.
Okay.
In case someone lets in a woman.
Exactly. Keel also said the State Department of Justice was well aware of and supportive of the Masonic Fraternal Police Department because if we remember from at the top of my segment, Brandon Keel was working as an aide to then California Attorney General Kamala Harris.
Oh my God.
So he's like, oh, I work for Kamala.
And I
We're
approve
cool.
it, so it's
So
fine.
therefore,
She knows all about this.
She's
Yeah.
good. Kamala's
Green lights all the way through the interstate. let's do
She
this.
is the Lady Nile
Santa Clarita
Jewel
PD.
of the whatever Eternal Order. Got it.
Let's
Oh my
fucking
God.
go. So, having literally set up a meeting to inform the police that they were impersonating police officers in their own fancy way. You guys, I can't believe it's real. It's so good. This was enough to carry out an investigation that included a raid on two of the trio's homes. And in those homes, they found badges. This was David Henry and Brandon Keel's houses were raided. And they found badges, ID cards, weapons, uniforms.
Incredible outfits.
Incredible outfits. Police,
Sashes.
quote unquote, police type vehicles, which like all that means is that
They had like a
Keel
siren.
had like a Ford Mustang with like a Dwight Schrute attachable side. And other quote unquote law enforcement equipment. I have no idea what that is.
Handcuffs, tasers.
Sure, maybe.
I'm speculating.
Yeah, but you're probably spot on. Like stuff that you could easily get.
Ugly shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, the ugliest shoes. Not me thinking you were saying a glee shoe. And I was like, what is a glee shoe?
Do I need one?
Back off.
Where do I
What is the-
buy one?
The height of French fashion, ugly shoe. Sign me the fuck up.
Ugly
You guys, this
shoe?
wine is insane. Ugly shoe.
Yeah, the wine's insane.
I think the glitter is blocking your synapses.
I love it. I'm going to join their wine
Glitter's
club.
just
How much
sitting
glitter is
on
in
all
my
of your
teeth?
dopamine receptors.
It really is. I
Firing.
feel so good.
Quick, do a cartwheel. Shake them loose.
I couldn't do that at the height of my
Try it.
athleticism when I
Try
was
it.
like 9.
Athleticism.
Try it? No.
My mom tried to
So-
do a somersault when I was like 7
Ma'am,
years
did she
old.
break her back?
Got her.
What did she do?
She just got hurt. My dad was telling me she used to be a cheerleader, which she was never a fucking cheerleader. He was
There's
making
no
fun
way.
of her, and then we peer pressured her into trying to do a somersault.
Honey,
She, like,
no.
pulled
She's
a
all
muscle.
elbows and knees.
I know. She's too
Angular.
Your
flaily to
mother
do a
is the
somersault.
most beautiful scarecrow that ever exists. She's like a stunning Met Gala scarecrow.
Yeah.
She's just gorgeous.
She
but
can't do a
she's angular.
somersault.
No.
Oh my god. Okay.
I bet she could do a mean
Okay.
cartwheel. Okay.
I bet
a
she
round off.
So this is a quote from Vice News. Quote, when the group's website was still up, It stated that the Masonic Fraternal Police Department was founded by the Knights Templar in 1100 BC. And was also BC
is wrong.
Before Christ.
Before Christ. We're an order dedicated to Christianity.
To Christ. It's so good. It was also the oldest and most respected organization in the world. Obviously, those claims are hard to disprove. But then there was the part,
coffee.
World's best coffee. You did it! You made the world's best coffee. But then there was the part about the Masonic Fraternal Police Department having jurisdiction in 33 states and Mexico. It's a detail that can really capture the imagination of the news-reading public, evoking images of Henry, Hayes, and Keel patrolling drug war-ravaged Mexico in full Masonic gear, end quote.
He's so hot. Oh my God. There's so many layers.
Sweaty. Yeah. Chief Henry took it upon himself to legitimize the MFPD to the public, frequently patronizing the Backwoods restaurant in Santa Clarita in full-blown police regalia, handing out business cards and spreading the word about his organization's presence.
There are so many crazy fucking people out there. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I know, but I love them. Like, they're actually not hurting anyone. They're just a little loony, and I love them.
I mean, they could eventually hurt someone.
Oh, they could, but anyone could. I could eventually hurt someone. I have.
Are they carrying weapons? Are they trying
Not
to
really.
like citizens arrest people?
Not that I know of.
Only
the only reason
jurisdiction is Masonic business.
Masonic business, and literally the only reason they were even found out is because they wanted to work with the police.
They requested a meeting.
They requested so many meetings, and someone finally was
followed
like,
up.
you know what? I got time.
Sure.
Let's fucking
You
do
know
it.
what? I need some overtime this month.
Let's
Let's
go.
do it. Get
Just
this on the book.
Straight up curious.
Yes.
I need
Quote,
to know what the fuck you're talking about.
what is going on? Yes, I'll take this meeting. Clear the rest of my day. Quote, he was very big on saying, I'm the chief, a server from Backwoods Restaurant told Vice News.
A server reported.
He also loved to share photos he had of himself with Bill Clinton. And I tried to find these photos because they were referenced in this Vice News article, but then like the link to the picture was down, and it turns out they're all gone because they were hosted on Google Plus, which no longer exists.
Oh, no.
I fucking cried. Okay. So these pictures are just gone, but like can confirm he like went to some political dinner meet and greet thing and got a picture with Bill Clinton.
Take a picture with anybody.
Yeah.
Right. And then was like, I'm the chief. Also, here's me and my bestie, Bill Clinton. I promise this is real. I'm the chief. I'm the chief.
Right. Right.
It's just like, here's my business
No
card.
questions.
I got 200 of them for free on Vistaprint. I hope you like it. So why were they doing
They
this?
were printed with like an inkjet printer. It's like almost out of
Probably.
ink. There's like
cut
yellow
out.
where there's not supposed to be yellow.
Their printer won't work because red is missing, even though no one has used red for like 10 years.
I'm the chief.
Anyway.
I'm the chief.
I'm the chief. So we legitimately don't know why they
Any
were
of this
doing
happened.
this. Like, there isn't a criminal motive for this at all.
They weren't scamming anyone.
No.
They weren't profiting.
They weren't pulling people over. They weren't stealing. Like, most folks who impersonate officers are doing it to get away with some other crime.
Right.
But that is not the
He
case
just likes
here.
to be the chief. He likes to wear the regalia.
He likes the outfit.
Yeah. It's the opposite, in fact, because they were literally harassing police departments all over the state trying to join forces.
I'm with
Like, they're not
Amanda.
trying
I
to-
love them.
I love them so much. So, I mean, obviously that's not the best strategy for folks trying to impersonate officers to cover up some kind of crime ring. And absolutely nothing in this investigation returned like criminal or nefarious intent. Like the only criminal act was putting on the uniform and saying, I'm the chief at the bar down the street. Like that was it. And the case, as it approached trial in 2016, started to fall apart. And an absolutely shocking and tragic twist of fate, the Supreme Sovereign Grand Master David Henry X, or X, died mere hours after appearing in a San Fernando courtroom in April of 2016 of pulmonary embolism.
Oh,
They poisoned him. He knew too much.
He was the chief.
Maybe.
He was the chief.
He was indeed the chief.
Yeah.
And they had
And now
to
he
take
is
him
the
out.
chief of the afterlife. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, he was only 47.
He transitioned.
Powerful.
He was too
He
powerful.
transitioned.
It's so sad. Earlier that same day, charges against Kamala's former aide, Brandon Keel, were dismissed entirely.
He was too powerful.
He was too powerful. They had to take him. He had to evolve to his next form. Wherever David Henry is
Transcendent.
now, I hope he just has a good top hat guy because he looks so fucking good
I
in a
bet they
top
buried
hat.
him in his outfit.
I hope so.
He
He earned at least that.
wore that fucking suit.
He wore the fuck out of that
Mhm.
suit. So charges against Brandon Keel were dismissed entirely, and it sounds like Reverend Tonette's were also tossed out eventually. Like, I don't have the follow-up. I literally searched their names and like, where are they now?
Yeah. I want to
Couldn't
know
find
what,
anything.
what Brandon Keel's career has been since working from
I-
Kamala and then all of this coming out.
Yeah, he got put on administrative leave during the investigation and then was dismissed from her team.
Oh no.
I don't know if he is currently in politics. I don't know, but he does not work for Kamala anymore. Tell you that.
Well, now we know how Joe Biden got elected.
Pretty much. It was Kale. According to the Los Angeles Times, David Henry's death all but closed the investigation into whether teaming up with his friends and family members dressing in police costume or even his Illuminati Grandmaster Henry X costume and going around to local businesses claiming to be some kind of law enforcement officer constituted a crime at all.
I would argue no, because his outfit was so specific. It wasn't like he
So-
looked like a cop.
No.
In that outfit, he didn't look like a cop, but they did have
Badges and
outfits
stuff.
that were more like
Copish.
your regular run-of-the-mill
So
cop
this was the
outfits.
dress uniform.
Yes, these were his. This was his tux and tails,
Got it.
babe. This was for meeting Bill Clinton.
Got it.
It was his Clinton fit.
This was his Clinton fit. His Clit fit.
Ish.
Whatever. Henry was vocal on YouTube in his belief that the entire investigation was an elaborate ruse. Oh my God. To derail Kamala Harris's then Senate run. And who knows? Maybe it was.
Fucking, I'm sure Kamala's like, what? What
I
the
don't-
fuck did Brandon do?
I don't need nor want your support, but thank you so much.
Let's go, Brandon.
Whose hand did I shake?
Yeah. And Brandon Keel's attorney, Gary Castleman, made a good point in court saying that police at any point during the group's consistent outreach to their departments,
Follow-ups.
quote, could have told Mr. Henry and Miss Hayes and Mr. Keel, listen, this is not a good idea. Someone might think you are impersonating a police officer. And then he goes on to say, I think police are jealous of anyone who might be perceived as an interloper or, pardon the expression, a competitor.
Hell yeah.
Jealous.
They're
Just jealous. So they launched an investigation
They're
rather than just
just
trying to shut it down with a conversation. And I agree with
Yeah,
him.
totally.
Isn't
They wanted to go after these people, and these people are also black.
oh yeah.
And so I think they took the opportunity to
people
be
do
like,
this
we're
shit
going to
all the
raid your
time.
house. Yes, they're just
and
fucking
it's freedom of speech.
yeah, they're just being little assholes, and they wanted to fuck up these people's lives. And turns out they really weren't doing anything.
Freedom of costume.
freedom of costume.
Isn't there a fraternal order of police, like a legitimate?
There is, but it's not I looked this up. That's not like a Freemason thing. It's literally like a police union frat
Yeah, got it.
organization.
Yeah.
And that's not international. That's national. You can join the police frat. It's like not under the umbrella of the police union. But
Right.
yeah, There is a fraternity
Got it.
for police, for sure.
Blue Lives
Because
Matter.
they need more clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
They need more
need
close
more
associations
echo
with
chambers.
powerful people.
Yeah.
The boys in
So-
blue.
Exactly. So the investigation also had some holes that led to Keel's case dismissal. Castleman said that detectives had conducted an improper search of his client's personal computer and that evidence found on it should be dropped. Burping. He also contended that the search warrant used in the probe did not cover Keel's vehicle, which was a Ford Mustang issued by the state for use by Department of Justice employees.
Oh.
So it was like
he had a company car. Brandon had a company car.
he had a company car for Kamala's
Wow.
team. And like Kamala was the AG, so it was a Ford Mustang that's probably very similar to those like kind of undercover police Mustangs that they put out. Like a lot of the sheriff's department or like state troopers drive that kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, this could also be, even though it doesn't say police on it, this could have been perceived as a police vehicle.
Well, it was also presumably paid for by public funds.
Right.
Exactly.
Taxpayer money
and
went to this man's
well, right.
Batmobiles.
But the lawyer is saying that they didn't have the right warrant to search his vehicle where the laptop
was found
because
he didn't own the car. This Department of Justice owned the car.
Ooh,
precisely.
Got it.
Precisely. And the laptop is where like basically Keel was the intern who like built the website for the police, for the fraternal
Wrote
police
all the
department.
memos.
Yeah,
I feel bad for Keel.
He had the like hard copies of
I
like
have got to find this man.
of like Mr. Henry's really cool outfit and like his mission statement. Like that stuff's on his laptop because, you know, Reverend Tonette and David Henry are not fucking running the website. That's for sure. So the attorney said that even if the search of Keel's Mustang was valid, law enforcement could not search the computer since it violated the Fourth Amendment. He said, quote, there was no consent to that search. They could have applied for a warrant, but they didn't do that. So at the end of the day, these folks, one is dead, sadly, and the other two are fine. Like their cases were dismissed. As for where Reverend Hayes and Brandon Keel are now, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Brandon Keel is a realtor.
Nice.
I love that for Brandon. Love that for Brandon.
Beautiful website. I think this is him. I'll send a picture.
I love
Go,
it. I mean,
Brandon.
I don't think they're working in law enforcement, which is probably for the best. But that's my case. I know it was a shorty, but I just loved them so much.
So good. I'm sending BrandonKeelRealty.com to the chat.
Yeah,
Actually, a really nice website. I
Time to go
apologize
down
if you're not
that
the
rabbit
Brandon
hole.
Keel, but you look like the Brandon Keel and you're in California.
I mean,
And you love a good
how
suit.
many Brandon Keels could there be?
Amazing.
Does he have a top hat? Oh, I see it. Oh my God. Totally him.
It's definitely him.
It's totally him.
God, I'm good.
Good for him. He's a real, you are good. He's a realtor.
Nice. Good for him.
He's a realtor now.
Anyway, that's my case.
Good
Wow.
God. Well, this was an exciting episode. Thanks to us.
A roller
for
coaster.
the topic suggestion.
You're welcome, us.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.